When David Akerson was hired by the Rwanda Tribunal in 1999, his job of organizing the evidence seemed insurmountable.
The evidence was in a single hotel room. A lot of it was in a bathtub that it was just piled up there because it had not been cataloged or they didn't know what to do with it. We didn't have any refrigeration. We didn't have any means. We didn't have any evidence bags. We didn't have any proper tools that you would normally associate with forensic work. Certainly with the amount of forensic work dealing with human remains, we didn't have any capacity to deal with that.
Human remains, countless objects, and millions of pages of documents. Akerson spent months immersed in gruesome and heartbreaking evidence.
I think a lot of people who worked at these tribunals would say one of the best parts of being involved in the process is standing up next to a woman who's been raped repeatedly and see her tell the story in a courtroom that's very foreign to her, that's very intimidating. But at great personal expense, she's doing it knowing how important it is for the healing in her country, for her country to be better than it was. That's pretty magnificent.
As the Rwanda Tribunal wraps up this year, after nearly 2 decades of proceedings, Akerson views it largely as a success.
We indicted 90 suspects. What many victims see as the real perpetrators is the guy who's in their village with the machete, and that political leaders are never held accountable. I think it really revolutionized the view of people in Rwanda that these crimes are planned meticulously, they're not spontaneous.
One of the most common arguments against the Rwanda Tribunal is the high monetary cost.
The cost of all the trials has been around $2 billion over the last 20 years for these 90 suspects. So it's a large amount of money, and it creates a lot of friction with the victims who are seeing so much money being spent in these international tribunals compared to their own justice system and their own reparations.
David Akerson now teaches law here at the University of Denver. It's half a world away from Rwanda, but he's found a way to stay connected to the work he did there.
To prosecute the perpetrators of the genocide.
He runs an externship or practicum, putting law students to work directly on evidence from international trials. Often the cases are ongoing, including Rwanda, and the students' work is actually used in the proceedings.
What is very gratifying about it is that the students actually get to work with the raw witness testimony, which is very dramatic and very powerful.
20 years on, many would say the lack of an international intervention in the Rwandan genocide was as shocking as the crimes themselves.
It forced the world to recognize the gravity of the crime, its failure to respond, and also recognize that things that are seemingly internal matters are really of international concern.
Nothing can change what happened in Rwanda, but Akerson argues the work of the tribunal has helped to ensure the world will not forget. MacCarthy, CCTV, Denver.